Hey guys, it's your pal Victor here. And hey, I was a big comic book collector in the 90s. That was the time to get into comics. It was the X-Men animated series, the death of Superman, Bane breaks Batman's back. All the big artists from Marvel left and formed Image. And one of my favorite artists is Jim Lee, who now is the head of DC Comics. But he had a comic that came out, I believe, in 1992 or 93 called Wildcats, which stood for Wild Covert Action Teams. And it was basically sort of his take on the X-Men, meets like Justice League. There was like a Superman-ish / Captain America type character called Spartan. There was a Wonder Woman-ish character called Zealot, who was like the queen of the Amazons. And she had her own version of Steve Trevor, who was kind of like a cross between Steve Trevor and Gambit by way of like a mercenary character. And his name was Grifter. And if you're going to tell me 30 years later, out of all these characters, the one that would still be in comics, in print, and getting his own action figure would be Grifter, I'd have been like, what? But yet, here we are. That's right. Today we're reviewing the new Grifter figure from McFarlane Toys. It's part of Future State, where he is now Lucius Fox's bodyguard and works for the Wayne Corporation. So we're going to open him up, and we're going to talk about him right now. So yeah, I always thought Grifter was cool. I mean, he was kind of like basically Gambit with like a Deadpool face mask and lots of guns. Sort of a Punisher vibe, sort of a Steve Trevor vibe. Even today, as this character survives, and here is the code for those of you looking. He's basically the exact same character he was then, except now he has a military jacket instead of a trench coat. So I am sure you could fix that with some creative use of the new Hush figure, which we're not getting, and I have my thoughts on that. So unlike other figures that have come out from Future State so far, this one only has the one twisty. So I'm pretty happy about that, because I'm way over these McFarlane twisty ties. Not that there's anything wrong with twisty ties. I just get tired of like clip, 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 you know. So Grifter comes with two swords, okay? This is more of a Bowie knife, all right? So let's get started on why we all know why he comes with knives. Because although he has trigger fingers, DC figures can't come with guns. I will tell you right now, just raid some guns from a different figure. If you have like the Arkham figures, get Red Hood's guns, get just any kind of Arkham figures guns, because that will improve this figure like 100-fold. You can pose him kind of doing like some martial arts, or use this knife if you have to, this knife, and kind of have him as, I'm just telling you, these are trigger hands. It's very hard to get these knives in there. Well, I mean, they're rubbery, so you can get it. And there you go. Now he's kind of this, like, southern Gambit-ish guy. So he's got the cool coat, it's sculpted well. It could use a wash. So if you've got, like, some black acrylic, just dry brush or wash this thing. It'll look great. I wish this red was a little bit more muted, so he would look less comic booky and more like the render here. I feel like that's like the perfect red, and this is a little red. And he's got the full tactical gear. He could be a member of the Shield, like Dean Ambrose or old school Roman Reigns or something. He's got like an ammo pouch, again, no guns. And that's, I mean, he's got a really good sculpt. I mean, he's got a wash on the hair. He's got swords, which he does use in the comics, and it does pay homage to the fact that he was trained by Zealot, you know, who was all about knives and swords in the Coda. And, you know, he's got fairly good articulation. It's been a minute since we've seen these ball joint wrists. But yeah, and I like the sculpt on the boots. He stands well. Like the belt swagger here. He looks like a bodyguard, you know. Overall, I'm not, like, you know, angry about it, but he's going to need some guns. So this is the kind of figure that the McFarlane gun accessory pack is definitely going to help. But it's cool to get this, like, 90s image character looking pretty much exactly how he did in the comic back then. Be cool to get some other Wildcats figures. I don't see that happening since they're not really in modern DC, but it's nice, like, seeing Todd do, like, another image character, essentially, as part of McFarlane Toys. So, there you go. And it does look like largely a Jim Lee render, which is nice, because largely the other Jim Lee Batman figures that McFarlane has done don't really look like Jim Lee drawings. I mean, the Hush 2-pack does, but unfortunately the elbows being black, which is an issue if you look in other YouTube videos, put me off from buying it. But this guy, he's cool. If you need some more Bat Family guys, he's good. You know, you want to start your own covert action team with, you know, Grifter and Ghostmaker, they're pretty much the same height, you know, and Ghostmaker is pretty fucking awesome too. So yeah, overall I'm gonna give him a thumbs up. Again, I can't give him a complete thumbs up because he doesn't come with guns, but again, you can just get them from another figure if you have them, and you can sling, you know, the knife there. There you go. I'm not crazy about this sword, but hey, you know what? Some people might be. Anyway, that's the review. If you enjoy, feel free to subscribe. Double knees, double elbows, butterflies, up and down, side to side, crunch. You know, good articulation. Good figure. I dig him. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.